And we are returned.
Welcome back, everybody. Who popped your culture? Live.
Completely ruined your
It's all right.
long drawn out ant.
On a bi-weekly Saturday, emphasis on bi.
Yeah, and this one we get to just kind of fuck around.
Yeah, we can be a little silly.
We're not on such a strict time schedule and content schedule and the fucking top fives and all that because it's already taken care of.
Yep.
Now we just get to bullshit.
Yep.
To bullshit with each other, and we get to bullshit with the chat if they are so inclined.
Yeah. It's me, Tommy, along with Mr. Chuck Mudarski, and joining us for the first time ever on Who Popped Your Culture, Sleazy Eric from Michigan. I won't say his last name just in case. Protect the guilty.
I appreciate that. Thank you. Great to be on, gentlemen.
Yeah, we thought it would be nice to have you on in case for whatever reason one of us can't be on.
We'd like to introduce more personalities into the mix.
Yeah.
We're also we're also vocal outside of a live stream that, I don't see any reason why we can't include our good, close, and also hilarious friends.
Yes.
So fun fact, since we're talking about Terminator still, Bill Paxton, Terminator, Predator, Alien, only got to be killed by all three. Also, Cowboys, Daemons, and Club Dread. But you know what can't kill Bill Paxton? Tornadoes.
Yeah.
The Demons one's my favorite.
I just like the way you said it the first time.
Daemons.
And to clarify, because I'm actually drawing a blank right now, and I'd like to consider myself a Bill Paxton connoisseur. What movie are you referring to specifically?
His director debut, I believe, Frailty, Matthew McConaughey.
Oh,
yeah,
that's right. Yeah. Diamonds. He's a diamond killer.
He's a Damon Fenton. Fenton's a Damon.
And I think, I feel like the only thing he hasn't faced is a werewolf. Like he was a vampire in Near Dark.
Excellent film.
Shitty Punk in Terminator. Hudson in Aliens.
FBI agent in Predator 2.
And I'm trying to remember his name, but it's on the tip of my tongue, but I can't remember it. And he's
in Predator 2.
LA cop in Predator 2.
No one gives a shit. Gary Busey owns that film.
Yeah, Busey was good in that.
He's amazing in it, but Paxton is like, I don't know, he's just stereotypical pre-1995 Bill Paxton. It's like he really took a turn right around 95. I don't remember when Twister came out exactly, but yeah, like that's kind of when he
95, 96 probably.
Something like that. But
so
that was when he got a little more serious, became an adult.
So I feel bad I don't remember his last name, but Black, who did the Predator film.
Shane Black?
Shane Black. Yep. Horrible movie, but I love the fact that they tied in Jake Busey was the son of Carrie Busey that dies in Predator 2.
Yeah.
That was like the one good thing I liked.
In Predators.
Baby Keys.
Yeah.
Agent Keys.
Or The Predator, right?
It was shit.
Yes,
it was the one with the giant predator that I hated.
So the one that with Brody, Predators.
That was Predators, yeah.
That was actually pretty good.
Yeah.
We're gonna talk about that next month. Though.
Next month.
I have lots and lots to say about all of the Predator, the whole Predator franchise. But this month, Terminator month. And today one of the reasons that I was really so adamant about doing this was that the Terminator franchise is like, I don't even think it was the first. I don't think it was the first to touch on the whole, like the anti-technology, the be careful what you wish for type story arc. But it definitely brought it up to a certain degree, or brought it to a certain degree of prominence that allowed it to influence so many other films like later down the line.
Mm-hmm.
And I felt like that needed it at least garnered a little bit more discussion with a little more loose of a format, and we could also bring in a lot of like I was talking to Tommy before we went live, a new movie that came out that's got a fair amount of buzz around it, or at least it did in its first couple of weeks of release. Megan specifically, but I mean, you can go back. It's throughout the annals of time. We're always as soft, fleshy, and ultimately killable animals. We're terrified of anything that could question our dominance on the planet, even if it's like a fucking calculator.
Yeah, one thing that came to mind when you mentioned, what we were going to do today, because I was like, I got nothing. I was coming home from the liqueur store, and the first thing that came to mind was RoboCop.
Yeah.
Definitely, like you said, be careful what you wish for, especially the second one with the big, walking, you know,
Yeah.
robot thing that RoboCop goes up against.
I kind of enjoyed the meth driven
No, I
side.
like RoboCop 1 and 2 are both really good.
When he flies in 3 is just too much.
Yeah, and it was a different guy, and it's like, and then they had a TV series about it. But like, yeah, 1 and 2 were really good, and I wanted to bring it up because I don't think we would ever like do a month just on RoboCop. So I figured this would be as good a time as any to kind of bring it into the fold of, pop culture, because I don't know about you guys, but me, when I was a kid, that was one that I like forever rented. Like that
Oh,
was a
Yeah.
nonstop.
owned a VHS. We
Hello,
wore it out.
Ashley. Thanks
We
for joining us.
wore out the VHS, but also RoboCop shout out. Not the best cartoon, but a great toy line because
Yeah, yeah.
they redid the Cops toy line. Remember it
Mm-hmm.
had the cap
Was that
gun
Kenner?
Yep.
Yep, they had the cap gun feature. So
Mm-hmm.
RoboCop, you could like pop, 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 pop.
Yeah.
Get that smell of cordite in your fucking nostrils as a 4-year-old.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but if I recall, there was the TV cartoon Cops or something they called it,
Yep.
and that didn't really work. So then they repurposed RoboCop with that, and then
Yeah.
Speaking of
and
toy lines coming back, I saw today that they're bringing back Biker Mice from Mars. Do you guys remember that?
Oh hell
oh yeah,
yes.
they're bringing back Street Sharks too.
Oh,
Both,
fuck yeah, dude.
both,
Yeah,
both,
I'm terrified for them both.
Yeah.
both TMNT ripoffs.
Yeah.
Yes.
But
I was
fun,
I had a conversation about this last night with I had attended an adult childhood party kind of
Ah.
where we watched Leprechaun because it was St. Pat's, and watching that movie for the first time in like 20 years, I was just like, I hope that this writer never worked another day in his fucking life. Because it's that movie, like I thought it was a serious movie. I didn't realize they intended it to be a horror comedy. But I think the last time I watched it, the jokes were so bad that I couldn't possibly accept the fact that they were actually trying to be humorous. But then looking into the the filmography of the writer, the guy went from writing like bullshit children's cartoons, most of which were ripoffs of other very popular cartoons. One of which was, do you remember the Cowboys of Moo Mesa?
Absolutely.
Right. That was one of the biggest titles. He had a couple of Scooby-Doo episodes, but the big one that stuck out to me was the Cowboys of Moo Mesa. And trying to explain this to people that were only 6-7 years younger than me about the slew of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle ripoffs that all just anthropomorphized heroes thrust into a human world. And yeah, the Biker Mice from Mars, still a big one for me.
Great figures. They were great
Yeah.
figures.
The motorcycles and everything.
that's it. The vehicles were great. They spent a
Yeah.
lot more time on the vehicles than they did on the figures
Yeah, the
themselves, because
figures, like the
only thing-
legs didn't quite
No,
like go
like, I
on
think
them
they
right,
had-
which
I-
that was always kind of a thing. The only
don't-
ones that I remember the bikes and the figures matching were the Power Ranger ones that came with the bikes,
Yeah.
and they had those, like quad jointed legs.
If I'm not mistaken, I believe my younger brother had a couple of biker mice, and I don't think they had, like, if they had elbow articulation and knee articulation, I think that was a lot.
The
think
knee
that
did.
They
Don't.
concentrated on the antenna.
Yeah,
They had the retractable antenna. That was it's just a dumb feature.
I don't recall the arms, but they definitely had knees, so they could kind of fit on the bike.
That makes sense. A little
Yeah.
more sense. But the Street Sharks are unassailable. I think that was like the last decent action figure based on a cartoon that I saw before they started to introduce the crazy.
they were very
articulation parts.
bulky.
But they
I
were
didn't-
quality. They
Yeah.
hold up.
Yeah,
I've
they
seen
look
them.
great.
I held them in my hands recently.
Yeah, they look
and like
great.
they're still like, it was like good vinyl,
Yeah.
good rubber. It
And
wasn't
the
like
packaging,
yeah.
all that shit was art back then. Now it's
Yeah.
just like how plain can we make the packaging?
It wasn't like a Boglin.
Yeah.
Like they didn't decide to make a toy out of foam latex that would just
Right.
deteriorate in fucking 10 years and make a far more terrifying display than originally intended. But yes, to RoboCop, which when was that? Was that
89, 88, 89?
hold on. There's this amazing thing called the internet that we're actually doing this
that we
show
actually
on.
use.
We
87.
have the access 87. Wow. Okay. So yeah, so
We met in the middle.
yeah, Terminator clearly came out before then.
Right.
But it definitely opened up the conversation a lot more because the movie was such a success. Even after the fact, even if it wasn't a box office success, but box office is bullshit anyway.
I mean, not a clear-cut ripoff because I mean he was
Not a
a
rip-off.
man,
Not a ripoff at all.
No.
But the question of relying on technology for things,
Right.
Which is blatantly obvious. The second, Jesus Christ, I can never remember the goddamn thing's name. The big bipedal.
Yeah. What I was talking about before, I couldn't remember its name either.
Yeah, the mech. Like the second they introduce it, the only reason the RoboCop program is implemented is because this big ass robot
Ed 208.
Ed
Thank you.
209.
209, sorry.
Ed 209, correct.
Close enough. We'll take
yeah,
it.
Yeah,
Closer
Ed
than we had
209,
it
Yeah,
for-
just out and out murders the fuck out of some hapless board member.
Yeah.
Um,
Members.
no, just the one. He just
Did he
like,
only
just
kill the
blast-
one?
He
I
just
thought he
blasted
killed-
the fuck out of the one guy.
Initially, he kills the first one because he has to hold the gun.
Yeah, and then when he puts
Oh,
the gun
yeah,
down,
yeah,
he
yeah.
just- he
Yeah,
shorts
that's
out
right.
anyway.
That's right.
And then it fails, so the guy comes in and it's like, I got a better idea.
Yeah.
We'll make RoboCop, and then that guy gets murdered
Right.
by Red Foreman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He put his foot up his ass.
Clarence Boddicker. That's it. That's the question. It's like you can judge a person by how they know a certain celebrity. Like when you see this face, who do you think? Do you think Red Foreman or you think Clarence Boddicker?
Red Foreman.
Red Foreman at this point. Yeah.
I mean, I'm a Clarence Boddicker guy, but that's
Yeah.
also because WPIX played RoboCop almost on fucking loop.
Yeah. It was on all the time.
And then the funny thing about it was, and I don't know, I've seen it so many times I can't even remember. But at this point, the whether or not there was any nudity in that movie, they did not edit the violence at all for WPIX.
I want to say there was at least a pair of tits in that movie.
It was kind of a requirement.
It's the
Yeah.
video call.
At the
It's the
time.
video call. I believe it's a video, or am I thinking Demolition Man?
That was another one I was going to bring up, so that's great.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember.
Maybe it's Demolition Man that Stallone opens the thing in the call. I thought it was RoboCop, but it's like a video call and there's a good set of tits.
Thank you, Ashley. That's very sweet.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't remember. All I know, like what I do remember, is the Murphy execution
Oh God.
in detail.
They
The
cracked the top of his skull open.
Yep.
Nothing like a shotgun blast to the hand.
No. And then also very specifically the squirrely looking dude when he comes in contact with the toxic waste and he fucking starts hobbling out of it right before he gets just exploded by the
Yeah.
by the bread truck.
Yeah.
Like all of that was just on WPIX.
The main villain's fall when his arms become 8 foot long. When RoboCop throws him out of the window, the guy's like falling. He's got 8 foot long arms.
I don't. Jesus. I have it on Blu-ray. I think it's time to break it out.
I'll
I think it's time. I think it's time to put Smokey and the Bandit back in his case and pull out RoboCop.
Let's see. Hang on a second. Let me see if I can do something here.
But
Carry on.
But yes. So anyway, the too heavy a reliance on robotics, artificial intelligence, also the question of programming artificial intelligence to learn to a degree that it will realize that their humanity is the biggest threat to the world, and then decides to remove us. And I don't know if any other franchise has ever touched on it to the degree that Terminator has, to the point of total annihilation. But it's always hinted at, like it's especially these days with the, don't know the word, at the relationship between the public and the police, and remove the element of human mistake, human error. Then the Boston Dynamics coming out with their creepy little fucking dogs with machine guns attached to their backs. It's just like, I feel like we've seen this before. Brutal death scenes.
You are talking about a franchise movie that has 2 films, so I get it.
All right. I can share this.
Not for nothing.
Just while we're talking here.
Sure. Yeah, like, to what little credit you can offer the subsequent attempts to make a Terminator movie, they did all more or less manage to maintain the sentiment that a totally sentient AI is not good for the human race. I think that's probably the best thing that Salvation had to offer, was showing what it was like to actually fight during the Terminator, like the resistance, the wars between man and machine.
Well, now look, we're trying to replace DJs with the whole, digital format.
Oh, with AI, yeah.
Crazy.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of podcasts that do that now. And YouTube videos. I mean, it's all, you can tell it's not a real person talking.
Well, a lot of that is they just write an essay, and then they put it through a text to speech thing, because they don't want their voices on the internet, which is, I get it, but at the same time, I don't know. Maybe I just have too much love of like the history of radio to accept that. Look at that kind of horrible animatronic head.
They don't make them like they used to, that's for sure.
Oh no, they don't. No, they don't. Like, it's, and that's, we talked about it a little bit with the animatronics. Here we go. Oh wait, no, wrong one.
Here we go.
Wow, for a clip video, they actually, like, they set it up. They didn't just run the bread truck into the Mongoloid.
Yeah, they're giving you a decent amount of each scene.
I did love the toxic waste sign because that's how they always label toxic waste.
Right, and I mean, it's not too. It's only a
Yeah.
few years removed from the Toxic Avenger. Like, this is what people thought toxic waste would do to you, and immediately.
His face.
You know, it would have been
And his
perfect.
fingers when he's walking there. Just
You know, it'd been perfect in that scene if like that was the point where Ray Wise's hair turned stark white instead of in Twin Peaks.
Yeah.
He's just like, they didn't tell me that this ugly motherfucker was gonna come around this corner. Scared the absolute bejesus out of me.
He's another one. All I think of is Twin Peaks when I see him.
Oh yeah, Ray Wise was or is, as far as I know, I'm pretty sure he's still alive. Amazing character actor.
There we go.
But probably more or less a typecast character actor. He kind of plays the same guy in all of the movies that he's in.
Just kind of like a snarky douche.
Well, like, not even so much that he looks like a snarky douche.
Yeah.
I bet you he could play a fantastic snarky douche.
Yeah.
But it's that hair, man. That guy's hair is immaculate. Like, if he's still alive to this day, like, he hasn't lost a single one. It is still full bodied. Now it's just white as the driven snow.
So about Ray Wise, do you remember he was the original dad on How I Met Your Mother for Robin, and then they replaced him? Because I was like,
I haven't watched that show in so long.
I remember that vaguely.
Because he was like the man's man, and then they replaced him because of availability.
Yeah.
Who did they get to replace him?
Just a second. I'm not familiar. I have it. Eric Brendan, B-R-E.
Some schmo. Because you don't just replace Ray Wise. If you're going to replace Ray Wise, you have to put so much distance between appearances.
Actually, correction, Ray Wise was the replacement.
Okay.
Eric Braeden.
That's an upgrade.
So they upgraded, yeah.
I know why I know him. He's on Young and the Restless. He's Victor.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Sorry.
Nothing.
I remember that from watching it with the
my mom's a big Young and the Restless fan.
That was actually one of my grandpa's favorite shows, which was weird. It was like the only soap opera he would watch.
Bernie still calls them the programs, and she's pissed that March Madness took her programs over this week.
Programs?
The programs.
All right, what else you got? Because my two were RoboCop and Demolition Man.
Like, Demolition Man it's another conversation, right? Because the world that we're living in right now,
fucking she-cells,
is he doesn't know how to use seashells.
eerily similar to the supposed utopian world of Demolition Man.
I'm not gonna lie though, too. I wouldn't be mad if every fast food joint was Taco Bell.
No, but we're also the guys living in the sewer, eating fucking rat burgers, drinking beer.
I am Edgar friendly. Like, that is like, you don't watch Demolition Man and be like, you know what, that Cocteau guy, he was pretty, he was onto something. No, you're Dennis Leary. You want a cheeseburger. You want your fucking Oldsmobile 442. You want to fucking, you want to drink gasoline and smoke cigarettes, and you want to curse and do all those things.
Now Muda, instead of running naked in green jello with a Playboy, would be running naked with green jello and a phone with Pornhub on. That's the only difference.
Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, they missed a couple of the cues, but I mean, more or less, you think about the way that they, because like physical sex was outlawed, so they just put on these VR headsets. It's fucking OnlyFans.
Yeah.
Like,
it's only a matter of, I'm sure it's readily available, but it's only a matter of time before it's that kind of technology is like at your fingertips, like very easily. Yeah.
But go ahead.
Sorry, I was going to bring up another film. It's a little different, but it's still the same thing about people relying on technology. Idiocracy. Think about it. Like
We're way too close to Idiocracy.
it's horrifying. But I'm saying when you watch that film, it's that future where technology has basically made everybody so stupid.
We may have to redact this, what I'm about to say, from any kind of VOD after the fact. But I swear to Christ, if somebody from whatever, some kind of Monsanto or big sugar type fucking company is just like, we're having a hard time with these crops. I think we need to introduce sugary electrolytes into the water system, the watering system of farms. I might turn into even more Edgar friendly type person.
Electrolytes are what plants crave.
Yeah, it's ridiculous, but it's the big thing to me, right? My philosophy in life. I said everything I need to know, everything I learned about life and need to know about life, I learned from genre films. It goes from science fiction to horror, cheap action movies, stuff like that. When I see a creepy cabin in the woods that has shown signs of being the site of some crazy satanic ritual, I don't go in there. When
You're like, I shouldn't go in there. I'm tempted, but I know I shouldn't.
It depends on how many extra substances I've introduced to my body at the time, because then my decision making just goes straight down the tubes. But when approached with the question, we've got this super advanced technology, and it's pretty cool when we control it ourselves. But how much cooler would it be if we gave it a mind of its own? No!
I got another one to talk about. You guys probably too old school. Logan's Run.
No, it's not too old school. It's perfect.
But that's another one where technology basically everybody's in a environment sealed. By 30, they eliminate you.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Sounds great on paper.
I had to look up the cover because I didn't even remember, but yeah.
You don't remember Logan's Run?
No. I mean, looking at the cover, I know I've seen it now, but
they got the diamond. They have the diamond.
Farrah Fawcett. Yeah.
Tommy, they have the diamond in the hand, and when you
Yeah.
turn 30, it blinks. Or
yeah.
If you will allow me a brief interjection of perversion. There was not a single bra on the set of Logan's Run, and I love every second of it.
Oh, it had a spin-off TV show.
And that was Basil Inquisition, correct? As the lead?
Yes, Michael York.
Yeah. It was always like that. Austin Powers ruined that guy forever.
Yep.
When I was in high school, we watched a film version of Romeo and Juliet, and he played Tybalt.
I remember watching that in school.
I watched that too.
Yep.
First time I ever saw boobies in school.
Yes.
That was the subject of the day when that scene came around. But the second Tybalt walked on screen, that was it. That was all anybody was just like, it's Basil! Yeah, when I saw later, and we're getting off topic, but that's what today's for.
Yep.
The original, I saw the cover for the original Island of Dr. Moreau, and he was one of the main actors in that as well. And that was it. That's all I saw. It was him and the guy who played the homeless dude that dies in the sewer in Scrooged. He was in it as well. But this was, they were talking about a fucking army of Shakespearean trained actors that just showed up in everything, especially if they were filming anywhere in Europe. Yeah, Logan Run, like all that stuff, all the and I'll give it to the 80s and the early 90s with Demolition Man. They brought it back a bit. But the introduction of these crazy fucking utopian ideas.
Shit, even Total Recall and it had Arnie in it. Running Man.
Yeah,
And
and it's just the idea that we can outsource human decision making, reason and logic, but with a tiny smear of emotion to things that don't feel it. When everything looks like everything is thought of as an equation and whatever, and like like what else do you think? How can you look back on human history and decide that we're good for the planet as a large organism? We're not. We can act responsibly moving forward, learning from our past, and maybe not being such dicks to the giant rock that we all we rely on to live. But putting that in the hands of a cold, calculating machine, never a good idea. And I think I'm the only one who's seen it. And unless you both of you oppose, there are some spoilers in explaining the movie Megan that has come out recently.
I have not seen it.
I haven't seen it either, but I mean,
I'll
by
try
all
and
means, if anybody hasn't seen
the-
it and don't want it spoiled, earmuff
spoiler
or-
alert.
Yes, alert, alert, alert.
Currently, I do believe it is streaming exclusively on Peacock.
Peacock,
if you have that, then I would recommend it, and I will do my best not to spoil everything. But if you've watched the preview for it, it's pretty clear that it is a killer robot story. Little girl loses her parents, goes to live with her aunt, who is she works for a toy company, and the thing she's most famous for is developing a way more interactive, a creepily more interactive, if those words work together. I'm pretty sure I made one up in there. A Furby. And I imagine anybody who's watching this show probably remembers the fucking Furbies. Because that was the Tickle Me Elmo of its time, which is also dating ourselves as well. But
Which was also the Teddy Ruxpin of its time.
yeah, the Teddy Ruxpin of his time,
Tamagotchi.
which was the Cabbage Patch Kid of its time, which was we're going back before me now. I can't.
Yeah.
I don't even remember.
G.I. Joe with the Kung Fu grip.
Yeah.
$6 million man with the little.
So this woman who has no designs on being a parent is forced to take in her niece, and all while this is happening, she's been developing what is a fucking real doll, if we're being honest. Only it's made for children, so it's it's built like a child. It's the same size as a child. It is designed to be a child's friend.
Didn't
Things go
Spielberg make
haywire.
this movie?
What's that?
Didn't Spielberg make this movie?
I actually don't know. I don't remember seeing his name in the credits, but I may not have.
No,
been paying
I'm being a
attention.
smartass. Remember that bad movie AI?
Oh, AI. Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
I think that was the only movie that I've ever seen where AI is painted in a positive light,
Ugh.
and that's just bringing in the Pinocchio aspect into it. But anyway, the machine goes haywire, and its prime directive is protecting the child, which sounds great.
Terminator?
No, Megan.
But sounds like Terminator.
Right.
Which is why I'm talking about it, because
I
it is
know.
more or less a Terminator. That's right. You weren't involved in the preliminary conversations. That
Sorry.
makes perfect sense that you would go that way.
Sorry.
But yeah, so something happens to the robots with the operating system, and people start to die. And it is probably the first movie that I've seen in a long time where that has been more anti-technology than not.
No offense, I think they stole that from the episode of Rick and Morty. Because that's literally an episode of Rick and Morty where the Rick programs the car to protect Summer.
Well, I mean, it's I see where you're coming from. I remember what episode you're talking about, and it was that B plot was pretty fucking hilarious.
Way
Or
better.
or like
But
the
it's-
robot that was just programmed to get butter.
Yeah. What is my function? You get butter. Fuck my life. But yeah, it's it's a common theme. We're always worried. We're always concerned about replacing ourselves, either on purpose or by accident, because we are a bunch of fucking funny monkeys who have access to technology well beyond our wildest dreams.
It's true.
Then we have the creatives among us that spin it into some of the best movies that I've seen in my lifetime. But then you get movies like Virus.
Oh. That did have Ashley Judd boobs, if I remember, though. Right?
In Virus?
No, that's Jamie Lee
Yeah, it
Curtis.
was Jamie Lee Curtis in Virus. And that was Alien. That wasn't even our fault.
There was a similar movie to Virus that had Ashley Judd in it that we get boobs. But I'll look it up.
Please do. I'd like to know.
I got about 5 minutes before I have to run.
Talking about Ashley Judd's boobs. Yeah.
Are you guys gonna take this stream somewhere else in 5 minutes? If anybody wants to know.
I mean, we could take it someplace else. We could keep the conversation going as long as we're talking about something remotely Who Popped Your Culture related. I don't care.
It's up to you guys. I mean, I don't mind. We got to remember we have boundaries here.
Yes. This is not an Alcoholics Unanimous podcast. I understand that. We'll keep it to
I didn't think I was going that crazy.
pop
No,
culture.
you're not.
We've been-
No, yeah, you
We've
guys
been
have been
tame.
great.
I feel like
Oh, Bug.
Bug? Actually sounds familiar. I don't know. I'll have to look it
Yeah, I
up.
mean, you guys have my blessing to keep it going here. So
We won't keep you here any longer than you have to be. That's for sure.
yeah, 5 minutes and I'm rolling.
That sounds good to me. Yeah, and anybody who would like to stick around, you're absolutely welcome to.
Do you have access to end everything?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I didn't know on that if we shared everything or not.
Yeah.
Okay,
mean,
cool.
As far as I know, it's my account, so it's probably
Right,
I
right,
probably
right.
have more access than you. Even.
Right, yeah,
Yeah.
probably.
But yeah, anyway, it's just it's an interesting topic. I feel like it's becoming more and more interesting. And as someone who grew up with all of this stuff, as I watch the attempts to create worlds that existed in dystopian movies, I'm kind of sitting here scratching my head all the time. And and it all comes back to Terminator for me. It's the first one that made me think.
Yeah, for sure.
Like I have a lot of the more so since I moved to Colorado. I wouldn't call them friends, but I've definitely interacted with more tech type people, and they get together and they start nerding out over machine learning and stuff like that. And that's all Greek to me. The type of programming and computer coding and stuff like that I deal with is all local and requires a large machine that cuts metal. But they just keep on churning out. They're just like, oh yeah, I've been working on this AI and we're trying to get it to learn all this stuff. And I'm just like, you are the problem. Like this, as I could get into it and I have enough drinks, and I'm just like, the Industrial Revolution was a mistake. We should all be digging holes and working farms. Cars shouldn't even exist.
To the coal mines.
Yeah, that's extreme. But yeah, it's the I get the interest because new things are fun and they're exciting and they're interesting. But there's a point when those new, fun, interesting things will fucking kill you. And yeah, That's like the main point with all this stuff. It's I'm not anti-technology. I'm on the internet right now,
Right.
like at a computer, and I'm talking with friends from across the country, and it is wonderful and it is great. And I don't want somebody to stick it in an endoskeleton.
But
Think
yeah,
you're
things
done.
can go too far with it, you know. Yeah, for sure. And you have a smartphone.
Right. I don't like that. Other than the
Yeah.
fact that it holds music, I don't like that I have a smartphone and use it. It bothers me greatly that I have it and I use it and I enjoy it so much.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I need to be able to pull up a really, really, really offensive meme at any given moment to send to you guys.
Right.
Like, or have
Or make Jay
access.
Ferguson gifs.
Hey, that did not. That was not done with a simple.
Oh, was that
simple
on that
GIF
was
app.
that done on a
Oh
computer?
yeah. Oh yeah.
It's so pleasant though to be able to
Nope.
have someone mess.
My lady.
that was me with a certain degree of alcohol consumption and the very same Adobe suite I used to make the intros for this fucking show. Just like,
And also the same Adobe suite that you used to make the trailer for the Predator episode, and I uploaded the wrong one to YouTube Shorts.
It is fun having the technology where you and the sweet baby have to read text exchanged at 5 a.m. while he's up, while I'm getting up for work. And she's
yeah.
I'm up sometimes. It depends on the day. And like I'll get up to go piss. Like the other night, Muda had sent a text, and I got up to go pee, and he was kind of like he was on a tangent a bit, and I read it, and I was like, "Yeah, it looks great." And then he started, and I was like, "All right, I'm going back to bed," and gave him a thumbs up. And then he was like, "Oh, I didn't mean to wake you up." And I was like, "No, I was up anyways, but now I'm going back to
Silence your
sleep."
phone. Don't let me interrupt your sleep.
And I was like, "I only silence groups."
I'm a maniac.
But speaking of silence, I'm going silent. I'm gonna go hang out with my wife since we didn't get to do anything yesterday for our anniversary.
tell her happy anniversary and
Yes.
birthday, please.
I will.
So
All right.
Happy anniversary to you, lady. I love you, brother.
Love you
and I will
guys.
talk to you soon.
Keep it clean.
As clean as we possibly can.
All right.
Okie doke. I'm going to run. Well, hold on. I'm going to upload it first because I didn't do it. But I'm going to upload a piss break video in a minute.
That sounds fantastic.
While we're doing that, we're going to keep on. We're going to keep this.
Hey, real quick before I go.
What's that?
I hope it doesn't end when I close out my browser. I don't think it will, but we've never done this before, so
I'll let you know.
Okay.
We're still here.
As far as I know, we're still here. All right. So the piss break video is going. But yeah, I just I just spent the majority of that first hour running my mouth. What was your first experience with Terminator?
I have a brother, half brother, 10 years older than me. So I basically always kind of caught on younger with, it was a HBO Cinemax staple.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how to describe it, but it was a video store, just many rentals. I don't even know how to describe it. It was one of those we just probably once every 2 months we rented. It was just, I don't remember not having Terminator. Let's just say that. And then when T2 came out, oh my God. Like you didn't see stuff like that with the liquid Terminator. Holy shit.
Yeah. And I don't know how deep I got into it, but it was that a very similar experience. I had a cool uncle. Like my old man was one of 5. He was the oldest of 5. So his youngest sister had just gotten married when I was like 8, 9 years old, and they were like early 20s tops. So first and foremost, cool older sister of one of my neighborhood friends took us to see. I remember we told our parents we were going to see Dutch.
The Ed O'Neill.
Yes, we told our parents we were going to see Dutch. Ed O'Neill and fucking what's his face from Empire Records and Can't Hardly Wait.
Oh,
Ethan
Ethan
Embry.
Ethan Embry.
Yeah.
It's an
So yeah,
underrated movie, actually. Like, I'm not saying Dutch is great, but it's an underrated movie. Like,
I mean, it's Ed O'Neill in his
it,
prime.
but
Like, how bad could it be?
people shit on it because he wasn't Al Bundy. Like, that poor
Right.
bastard got shit on for life because he wasn't Al Bundy.
Until American or Modern Family or whatever it was
Yeah,
came
I
out,
mean,
which is, I'm not gonna say it's not. I'm not gonna say it's not. It's like one of those weird, the fans of both, like they kind of they look at it like it's like like Al Bundy after, like it's like Al Bundy in the witness protection program with a hot Sofia Vergara wife and all of their ridiculous shit in the suburbs, like a sequel to Married with Children.
Ed O'Neill is a guy I use as he was one of my dad's drinking buddies. Like, I had so
Oh,
many
yeah.
guys like Ed O'Neill in my life that they're former jocks. Because remember, he was going to play NFL football, and he was like one of the last day cuts by the Steelers. He was supposed to. He was working to be on the Steel Curtain team, those famous Steeler teams that won 4
Yep.
Super Bowls, and he got cut. And by getting cut, he went into acting. And it's just, and he's just like that guy. I grew up, he was like an uncle. You know what I mean? I had so many my dad friend uncles. Like, he didn't call them by their first name. They were Uncle this, Uncle Chris, Uncle Jim.
Yeah. And it all right. So I mean, that's a beautiful aside. And I feel like we probably should cover Married with Children or the life and work of Ed O'Neill.
I would love
Itself,
to be
because
part of the Married with Children. That was a
Oh, yeah.
household staple.
I couldn't imagine a show without you regarding Married with Children. And then for the subsequent Q&A, housekeeping and bullshitting show, we'll talk about the best and most successful ripoff of Married with Children.
Well, the worst was made by the creators of Married with Children, which was a good show. The puppet Bob Bobcat.
Unhappily Ever After. That's
Yep.
exactly that's what I'm talking about. Nikki
I'm
Cox,
sorry.
baby.
Yeah.
And which we can now use to swing back to the Terminator conversation, because Nikki Cox was in Terminator 2.
That's right. Holy shit.
Yep.
My favorite experience in Terminator 2, Pudnick from Salute Your Shorts, is the best friend of Edward Furlong.
Still rocking the mullet. Before Salute Your Shorts was even a thing, rocking the mullet.
And I won't lie, Linda Hamilton, her finest, Terminator 2.
I feel like this is the time where we blur the line that Tommy's talking about us not crossing.
Well, I'm not getting into details, but
I will try to keep it as PG-13 as I possibly can. But Linda Hamilton is specifically in Terminator 2, which is not to take away from Linda Hamilton in Terminator 1.
No, but
I did not see Terminator 1 by the time I had seen Terminator 2.
Really?
Yeah. Cool. I mean, dude, it was like I was saying, our one of my best friends in the neighborhood, his older sister, like we didn't ask her. We did not beg her to take us to the movies. Mostly due to the fact that our relationship between my friend and I and his older sister was usually very adversarial. So the idea that all I can think is that she wanted to go see it. And then for some probably regrettable spurt of altruism, decided that she was going to ask her younger brother and his friend if they wanted to go see this movie. And to which we said, yeah, fuck yes, absolutely. It's an R-rated movie. We didn't even give a shit about what it was. We didn't know what it was because we didn't see Terminator yet. And so we go and we tell our parents, and that was the best part about it, was the teenage responsibility was instructing the young people to lie to their parents so we can go do what she wanted to do. So she's just like, oh yeah, Dutch is playing at the exact same time. So go tell your parents that you're going to see Dutch. And it didn't even register with us that our parents would ask why the fuck we would want to watch Dutch at that age. 1991. 1991, I was
7?
years old. I was 7 years old. So, like, why would a 7-year-old want to go see Dutch? They wouldn't. But that was the beauty of parenting in the 80s and 90s, the early 90s especially. There was a degree of naivete. And if there was no phone call from the police or the hospital, you were fucking scot-free, baby. And so we go and we see it or whatever, and that, like, that first scene, the first time you see Sarah Connor, when she's doing pull-ups on the bed, and I'm just like, wow, that lady's really muscular. like I had not seen this, right? I've been watching like American Gladiators and shit like pretty much my entire childhood, but it was just none of them are as like sinewy as Linda Hamilton was in the role of Sarah Connor in Terminator 2. And I'll tell you what, I had feelings.
Yeah.
You know, and it's, you know, so many others of our friend group know, when I go on a tear really late at night on Twitter, you get to see what I like, and you know, like it was the beginning of a trend that would see at least at no less than a resurgence late in life.
No, sometimes our Twitters, I'll see like clips of like two muscular women going, and I have to double check if it's a wrestling account or if it's you sharing it because of your like of fit women.
It's valid. It's valid. And regarding muscular women and their need for hydration, it's time for us to expel some stuff. So we're going to be right back after this short intermission. And yeah. And we are returned and emptied. And refilled.
Yep. Cheers. Cheers.
Cheers, my brother.
Cheers.
Yeah, so so back to Linda Hamilton. Again, not even remotely taken away from her in just as a aesthetic point of view right? So you go back, and after so many years of watching T2, go back and I watch Terminator 1 every so often, not nearly as much. T2, as discussed in the first episode this month, um, it's a perfect movie.
It's one of the few ever, yes.
But Linda Hamilton and T1, like even regarded, like her hair even in that movie is not like it was
It
not
fits
too far a leap.
No, but it fits that time. It's that 80s. She's a waitress. She's
Right.
just
But
it
like,
fits that demographic. By 2,
yeah,
she's a war-torn, ready to murder everybody's ass. Like
for
it's
sure. But like my point being is that even in the first Terminator, like she didn't have, her hair was half the size of her roommate's. So she was still very like modest. She was just a very like a cute, super attractive like young woman. You know what I mean? Like and
no,
it's there is I don't know, something about the inherent danger of courting Sarah Connor circa T2 is what appeals to me. But there's nothing wrong with Sarah Connor T1. Like not even a little bit.
no. The bad thing is Linda Hamilton. Like we start breaking into things. It's like she's in a lot of stuff, but I only know her as Sarah Connors. And as I'm looking up her IMDb, I totally forgot she was in Beauty and the Beast, the soap opera, which Ron Perlman as the Beast.
Yes.
Sorry to change topics.
No, not at all. We're talking about Linda Hamilton. It's perfect.
Like I'm totally looking up her IMDb right now, and it's like holy, because Children of the Corn. Like I forget.
Holy
Like
shit, that's right.
Outlander. We have your woman, Outlander. Oh my god. I mean, she is Sarah Connor to me, but
Oh yeah, I don't think she's had a more iconic role than that.
No.
And it, like I mean, even then bringing her back for Dark Fate, like, and that was the thing. She was in. Did you ever watch the TV show Chuck?
A little bit. I know she was in it, but I wasn't just.
Yeah, she wound up being. Like early on in the series, the lead character he's to understand that his mother is dead, and then his like father, whatever. Either way, he thinks his mother's been dead for a long time, and then later on in the series, his mother is proven to be alive, and it's Linda Hamilton, and Linda Hamilton hadn't done very much in that time, and she had succumbed to life and like living middle aged and stuff like that. And it was very shocking, kind of, just based on the repeated viewings of the second Terminator movie. I was just, it was my opinion, whether it's accepted or not, is that time was not exactly kind to her. And then once she was tapped to bring back Sarah Connor for Terminator Dark Fate, like, sweet baby Jesus.
Mm-hmm. So I'm looking up her IMDb right now, and Children of the Corn 84. I mean, she was in. I'm not going to name all the stuff that. Terminator, obviously the big one. Totally forgot she was in King Kong Lives, which was the sequel to the Jeff Bridges Jessica Lange King Kong remake of the 70s, where he falls off the World Trade. You know what I'm talking? Remember, instead of the Empire State Building, they remade it with Jeff Bridges and Jessica Lange.
I remember that, but
and then they made a sequel in the 80s, King Kong Lives, and that was like the premise of the Universal Studio ride.
No shit.
Yep. And then 1990, I know baseball's a big subject. She was the wife, girlfriend in Mr. Destiny with John Belushi's brother. Remember, like he talks about if I would have hit that home run with Jim Belushi.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to be.
I've never seen that movie.
You really?
I'll have to break that.
It's not bad. It's called Mr. Destiny, and I'm totally going off the Terminator premise, but what the hell? We're talking about Linda.
Still talking about Linda Hamilton. It's all right.
It's this guy, like, his life's okay, but he's like, what would have happened if I hit that home run in high school? And then he hits the home run. He ends up married to someone else. His life's different. And then he was like, it's your typical, puff piece where it's like, I wish I had, but it's a 90-minute. It's fun. It's that.
If it's a good tight 90, then I'm
It's like 90,
I'm in.
100. It's not long. You're not going to burn yourself out. But
I found myself like if I pull up a movie that I haven't seen before and I look at like its duration, if it says like 89, 90 minutes, I'm just like tight
Yep.
90, a
Yep.
proper movie.
And then I forgot she was in Dante's Peak too. I haven't seen that.
That's right. Yes.
The year. That's really, there's some other stuff, but those are about the big hits looking. And she was also in T2 3D Battle Across Time, the Universal Studios show that I think they got rid of it recently.
I think that one's been gone for a while. I did get to experience it before.
I got to too. It was a good experience.
It was that was I think that was roughly around the last time I ever went to any one of those theme parks. The T2 ride was definitely my favorite, and it was incredibly difficult for me not to buy a Terminator 2 branded Brando style leather jacket. It was the dumbest thing in the world. It was just a plain old leather jacket, but instead of whatever brand name the jacket was, it just had a T2 logo on it. And I'm just like, this thing is like at least 50% more expensive than it needs to be for it just being a leather jacket. But
so to not like switch back and not talk about Linda Hamilton, but the other thing we were talking about, discovering Terminator 2, didn't bring this up. I totally forget because I had a dad and an older brother, 10 years older.
mm-hmm.
It was like religion in our house if something came out. My dad was never a sci-fi guy. Like my dad to this day has never watched Star Wars and he has no interest.
Mm-hmm.
But like sci-fi stuff, so he wasn't into that, but my brother was. But for the most part, we had a standing in the house when we went to the video store and rented VHSs for you young folks. We used to see videos. We went to a store and had to rent video cassettes that you had to rewind. But if it had Arnie, if it had Sly, if it had Chuck Norris, or it had Bruce,
Mm-hmm.
we watched it. Those were like our figures,
Mm-hmm.
At least once we'd watch it. There's so many, for all the classics, there's so many bad. Stop or My Mom Will Shoot. What's the Bruce Willis comedy one that he's like an art robber?
Hudson Hawk.
Hudson Hawk, yeah. Thank you.
An oft-maligned movie that doesn't deserve anywhere near the amount of hate that it gets, with the exception of
Sandra Bernhardt.
Yes.
Yep. But no, it actually, looking back, it's actually fun. But it was overhyped. It had its own Nintendo game, if you remember.
I do remember, and I still have no idea why, ever. And it is. I'm not sure if I can't remember like whether like chicken or egg scenario. I get the like it was always purported that Tony Hawk named his kid Hudson so that his kid's name would be Hudson Hawk.
That's outstanding.
And like it's a. I think the biggest problem with Hudson Hawk was the fact that it came after Die Hard, after Bruce Willis he was a sitcom actor and then he became an action superstar and then he went back to a more comedic role. And I don't think it was as well received as anybody thought it would be.
Poor Bruce too. A lot of great films, but he's always going to be John McClane, no matter what.
Oh, yeah. And he should be fucking happy with that.
He was great with it. I mean, he was happy to be Die Hard. He was Die Hard.
Give me that snarky guy from North Jersey who doesn't ever want to be where he's at.
But speaking of North, that's one he never wanted to talk about again was North.
Yeah.
Sorry, I can't help myself.
There's a lot. And I mean, especially I honestly wouldn't blame him for not wanting to be associated with most of the movies he's made in the last 15 years.
No. It's funny though, you talk about the New York station where you saw a lot of this, and I didn't have that kind of public station in Michigan, but TBS, Turner, TBS, all those films, like
It's my understanding that TBS for much of the South and whatever other region picked it up was the WPIX
It really
of those
was.
regions.
It
Like it
as an adult, you have to understand. We had friends that had cousins that would tape WPIX, so
Yeah.
we would have VHSs mailed to us to watch the shit on WPI. It's so I'm very familiar with that station, but
I mean, like it's right in the call sign, right? Like they had the foresight to request a call sign that was WPIX. WPIX was the movie channel for the greater New York area. And it only became like it was they carried the Mets games for a long time. That's where the Saturday morning cartoons started to air. And it became more of a generic TV station, and then eventually, at least in our area, when the WB was a thing, the WPIX became the WB. It was WB11. And it was again, and it all changed. It got more family friendly and stuff like that. But that was it. It was the formative years, and I still have yet to make the WPIX Who Popped Your Culture logo like I want to. Still looking for the right background, but it's a very, very formative. I dealt with it. T dealt with it in his younger years. And yeah, it just
I
massive.
I had a friend that had family all from there, like they
Mhm.
were from Michigan, and literally WPIX they would get VHS growing up mailed to them, and then also the what's the basic cable station where you could buy time, the famous New York station that every like me and you right now, if this wasn't the internet, we'd be on a public access station,
Sure, yeah. I
and
honestly, I don't know.
but so I can't remember, but there was a famous New York City public access station, and my buddy would get mailed both of those, like from his family out east. It was
I think the public access was pretty much because I was too far away from the city to get
okay,
city public access.
okay,
I have an idea of what you're talking about because I followed for a long time a couple of filmmakers from that area, like Long Island and stuff like that. So they'd get all that stuff, and then public access didn't usually leave the region. WPX was a larger region where
oh
public
yeah,
access
no,
was
I
way more like
well that
like we didn't get ads on WPIX. Like we got New York City news on the channel 11 news, but we didn't get like if you were talking about like kind of low level nonsense that anybody outside of a 10-mile radius wouldn't give a shit. Like we didn't get any of that.
well that's why I bring up WPIX because my buddy and his family would get this stuff filmed, like they would like tape
Mm-hmm.
trade because it didn't have commercials, and this was when VHS was like 30-40 bucks.
Yeah.
So they'd film the movies and just be like, here's, it's like when you had that one family friend that had HBO and they'd have like a wall of fucking blank tape because they were just taping everything.
Yeah, I mean it was it was a different time. And we I don't know, the like I mentioned before, right? With RoboCop and how little they edited things. And even like a lot of the times with nude scenes and stuff like that, the editing, they wouldn't just cut the frames. They would just blur it out.
Oh yeah.
Um I remember like very clearly Elvira, Mistress of the Dark. There's one scene, and there's no nudity in that movie at all. But like there's one scene where she walks to a window where she's wearing nothing but her
I know
her
exactly the
panties,
scene you're
but her
talking
hair is
about.
covering her boobs. But they even blurred that out a little bit, which certainly led me to believe that there was more to this scene than I was
Then you
getting on
get your
TV.
hands on the actual copy and it's just
Right, and then I'm
disappointment.
just like where is it? Because I was a a horny pubert.
I,
Um,
again, TBS growing up, so many movies I'd watch and be like, oh wait, something's missing.
yep.
So then I would go to the video store to get it, and then it was like, oh. But one film growing up I always watched on TV, and then a little older watched Revenge of the Nerds, and I'm totally going off guard. I'm sorry, but
No, that's fine.
that was
No,
a treat.
we're
That
so far off the rails right now. It's not
that
even
was
funny.
that Revenge of the Nerds first time viewing was a very big treat to young Eric. Like, oh,
It was a formative experience, regardless of the problematic aspects of that entire story arc. It is a formative time for any young man. I mean, or woman, really, if that's your cup of tea. If you enjoy the view of a bare human female body, then you're going to enjoy Revenge of the Nerds.
Definitely Revenge of the Nerds, Caddyshack, and Animal House.
Yes.
And National Lampoon's Vacation. Thank you, Beverly D'Angelo.
Very much thank you.
And Terminator, bringing back full circle. Terminator 1. Thank you, Linda Hamilton.
Yes, indeed.
Thank you, Kyle Reese.
So in the interest of keeping the conversation as short as possible, not talking about Terminator, I think it's about time to wrap up the show. So I want to thank everybody who's watching. It looks like we've got one watching now, and it's probably me. Anybody on the back end, you catch the replay. I appreciate it. Don't forget, follow the link in the ticker on the bottom, patreon.com/heels and quads. Please and thank you. If you want to support the show buying merch, you can go to mudamerch.com. That's mudamerch.com. And yeah, we have a variety of Who Popped Your Culture, specifically episode themed t-shirts from the past, some generic branded merch, and yeah, anything you can do, we appreciate it. Otherwise, just thank you for watching. Thank you, E, for popping on tonight. Look forward to whenever the hell we can get you on again. Anything you'd like to say?
I appreciate coming on. It was a blast.
All right. Well, in that case, then I am Chuck Mudarski, and I'm speaking for Senor Tommy Walter. In his absence, thank you very much for watching Who Popped Your Culture on Heels and Quads Media YouTube channel. Please like, subscribe, follow, click the bell for notifications, and we will see you on the back end. I'm going to run the intro one more time, if I could find it. And yeah, make sure that you're here 2 weeks from now, April 1st. We are going to do we're going to start our Predator Month. And that should be good fun. We're going to work our way up to the Bill Paxton month. Either way, thank you again. And never forget, being a jive-ass bitch is bad for your health.